Change his state, I think.
Change his state. Change his state of mind. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me more about that. How do you change a player's state of mind?
When I had coached young girls in soccer, we used to do different things, like you brush it off, and just in that motion where you're brushing it off, you know, instead of hanging your head or just looking at the ground, you're doing something completely different. So it kind of mixes up that thought process.
You're getting them to think about something else other than the fact that I just walked the batter. You get them to think about something else. That's part of changing their state, okay? And when you use that ritual, that's helping them change their state, okay? What else? What other ideas do we have for this?
Well, baseball's a great example because it's such a team sport. Just simply say, hey, look, you know, you bring your infield in and say, everyone's got your back. You know, you put them on base, no big deal, but we all have your back. We don't expect you to be perfect, and we'll get them out for you. That's what we do as a team.
Okay. What were you going to say, Coach?
I was just going to say maybe they did have a good pitch, you know, and you could focus on that one good pitch and kind of get them back into that frame of mind.
Okay. So you're not going to do what my little league coach did when I struggled out there. You know what he did? Throw strikes! You know, I didn't find it that helpful. I like your approach a lot better. So, you know, when you say brush it off, what you're doing is you're using one of PCA's tools, one of the tools from the Power Pedagogical Coaching. It's described in more detail here on page 23. Mistake ritual is a physical gesture that a player uses to remind themselves that mistakes are okay, and to communicate to themselves and to others that they're putting the mistake behind them and moving forward. Okay? Mistake ritual can be anything you decide for it to be. Brush it off being one of them. One of our favorites is flush it. Okay? And flush it has been used by an NCAA college championship baseball team, Cal State Fullerton, and it's been used by a gold medal Olympic softball team from the United States. The softball team went as far as to put a toy commode in the dugout. And after a bat at bat, the player would hang up their helmet and they'd go over there and they'd, you know, make the noise and everything. But getting beyond mistakes is a challenge for all athletes and all players, no matter what level. And even the pros, even the Olympians, will use tools like a mistake ritual because they know which is the most important play. Which is the most important play? The next one. What can they control? The last play or the next one? Can they control what's coming up two innings from now? They can influence it, but they got control over the next play. And so the high performers constantly change their state to the next play. Mistake ritual helps you do that. There are more tools for making the elm tree a reality in your coaching. There's a whole chapter full in the Power Double Goal Coaching. What's ELM stand for? What's ELM stand for? Why is it the elm tree? Why isn't it the coconut tree of mastery? E for effort, L for learning, and M for mistakes are okay. All right, so let's take a look at this here. We talked about the first principle. Let's switch to the second one. You know nothing about the two vehicles except what you see there. Which one do you want to drive?
I'll take the free tank of gas.
Why do you want the gas? Is expensive, right? Why else? Why would you rather have?
You can go further.
Okay. You can go a long way with a full tank of gas. Well, you know what? We all have a tank also. Your kids have a tank. At PCA, we call it the emotional tank, or the E-tank. It's the second principle of positive coaching. Kids with anti-emotional tanks, those are the characteristics you tend to see from them. Kids with full emotional, same kid, but full emotional tank, here's what you tend to see from them. Which ball player do you want to coach?
Full tank.
We want the full tank. If we want our kids to perform, we want to help keep their tanks full. Okay? So I would argue that when a coach grabs your face mask, that he's not helping you perform better. He's draining your emotional tank. And I would argue that an effective coach would find a way to communicate what they need to communicate to you. Hey, you're better than that, and I know that you can stay with that defender. I believe in you. Okay? Communicate what you need to, but do it in a way that is more tank filling and less tank draining. We want to be good tank fillers as coaches. So where might a Little League ball player look after making a mistake on the field? They might look at mom and dad, they might look at coach. Okay, I want to be the kind of ball player that looks at my coach. And you are my coaches. You're my coaches. And I'm going to swing and miss. It's an important at-bat. It's that at-bat that you described, that important one. And after I swing and miss, I'm going to look at my coaches. And I want you to say things that would drain my emotional tank in that moment. Okay, everybody stand up. Everybody up. Your coaches. You're the third base coach. And here's the pitch. You don't have to hold back. We're role playing. I won't take it personal. Here, I swing and I miss, and I look at my coaches.
Oh, man. That's terrible.
All right. Let's do it. This time, instant replay, when I turn, you're going to say things that would fill my emotional tank in that moment.
You'll get it next time.
Okay,
You'll get it next time.
Great hack, buddy.
Which one are you guys better at? Huh? Which one did we have more?
The negativity is easier.
The negativity is easier?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most of us, it's that way for a lot of us, right? So good thing that we're practicing this. This time, when I swing and miss and look, you're going to you're going to drain my emotional tank, but you can't say anything. No words. Here I go. Okay, and the last one, you guys are good at the tank draining stuff. The last one, you're going to fill my emotional tank, but you can't say anything. No words. Here I go. All right, take a seat. Okay, so what did I experience as your player on the tank draining side? There was some criticism, there was some correction, there was certainly some sarcasm. I don't know if anybody just ignored me, turned away. And certainly, you were able to drain my tank without saying anything. Okay? What have you guys read and heard about communication? How much of communication is nonverbal? A lot, okay? I've heard a lot too, 78. Our words do communicate, but what communicates even more is our posture, our arm gestures, our facial expressions, body language. Tank filling. Praise that is truthful and specific is a powerful tank filler. So if you come up to me after the workshop and say, if you come up to Damon and I and say, hey, you guys both sure have great hairstyles, you're probably not going to fill our emotional tanks very much, okay? All right? But if you come up and say, hey, Ruben, thank you very much for making the workshop fun and interactive and giving us a chance to, you give me some specific, and it's true, that's a tank filler. Okay, expressing appreciation is a great tank filler. Just being listened to or feeling like you're being listened to is a tank filler. And then the nonverbals can fill emotional tanks. Now let's go back to correction for a second. Do any of you find it interesting that correction is listed as a tank drainer? Isn't part of our responsibility to correct kids when they're doing it wrong? What do you think? Yeah, it is definitely part of your responsibility. Responsible teaching and coaching involves correction. So why would it be on the tank drain side?
Because if that's all there is, it's negative.
If that's all there is, yeah. What else about it?
Shouldn't be in the form of a correction.
Okay.
Should be in the form of something else.
Yeah.
No one likes to hear that they've done something wrong.
Okay. They don't like to hear that, but wait a minute. If you step into the pitch, you'll have more power. I didn't tell him he was doing it wrong. But what did he hear?
How to do it right.
He heard how to do it right, but even a young kid knows that part of the message, the unheard part of the message, or unspoken part of the message is you didn't do it right. The right way is to step into the pitch so you have more power. Okay, so we just want to be aware that correction, even when delivered in a responsible, caring way, can have a tank draining effect. And we talked about how important it is for the good job. Good job. It does a little bit of tank filling. But the more specific you get, that's the way to keep your glove down and head down on those hard ground balls. The more specific, the more tank filling. Okay, so if we agree that responsible coaching involves some correcting and it involves some tank filling, what's a healthy balance? And beyond a healthy balance, what balance produces the best results? You guys remember this? The magic ratio? Anybody? What is the magic ratio?
5?
It is. It's 5 to 1. Okay? We did not draw this out of thin air. Okay? Research in 4 areas points to this. Research in school and learning. Research in relationships. Research in the business world. What kind of feedback produces the best performance by employees? And those are good, but the most important is researching great coaching. Researching great coaching. John Wooden. We all recognize that name? Did he win?
Oh, yeah.
Did he teach life lessons?
Yep.
How do we know he taught life lessons?
They're still talking about it.
They still talk about him. What do they? Any of them talk about this? The pyramid of success. What was the pyramid of success? It was that stuff right there. Those were except he organized it instead of a straight line in a cafeteria in an elementary school. He taught his UCLA Bruins, including Kareem Abdul, future NBA guys. He taught them the same things. So research on great coach. John Wooden, people who studied John Wooden's feedback and interaction with his players found that 85% of his coaching feedback was tank filling. 85%. So 5 to 1 means that we have something to shoot for over time. And don't misunderstand this ratio of 5 to 1. It doesn't mean that when I want to tell Tanner to grip the ball more loosely, you'll have more velocity. It doesn't mean that I have to go, Tanner, thanks for being here early for practice, and I'm glad you remembered your whole uniform today, and I liked your sportsmanship last game, and let me think of 2 more before I can tell him to. That's not how the magic ratio works, okay? If I've got corrective feedback that I think is an appropriate time to give it to him and helpful, I'll give it to him, okay? But I'm going to look for opportunities before, after, throughout the season to do lots of tank filling, okay? Questions about the 5 to 1 ratio? So we've talked about the elm tree of mastery. We've talked about filling the emotional tank. Let's talk about the third principle, which is honoring the game. Who recognizes this photograph? What can you tell me about it, Matt?
That was the girl that hit the walk-off, but when she hit first, right, she did something. She couldn't make it, but the team carried her around, even though they were going to lose.
You got the story right. It wasn't a walk-off.
Oh.
It was a very influential home run. And here's the rest of the story, as told by ESPN.
In the middle of Washington State.